Welcome to another episode of Modern Bok. Thank you for joining me today. So today I thought I'd go through something a little different. I've been doing some predictions. I've seen everybody bring up their opinions and that, but I thought I'd go look at something else a little different, which is who I think will be the top stats performance in the tournament. So I'm talking points, tries, conversions, all that, and see who I think in this tournament compared to last tournament would do that, and how that, based on the team strategies and that, why I think that they got there. So before I get into it, please comment, subscribe, please share, and yeah, let's get into it. So first category I think I'd go through is clean breaks. The clean breaks for in the 2015 was Mundaskara with 15 clean breaks and Ben Smith with 13. So Ben Smith I think does have a good chance of entering that list again, although I feel like he isn't as important, he isn't as essential in the playing styles of New Zealand this year. This round forth, he is a very talented player, great option, but I don't think he's going to get as much fullback time because of the strategies New Zealand is playing out. So I'm going to go with another New Zealander, just because the style of their play is often clean breaks. I mean, I think they were the top 3 in the last tournament in clean breaks, so I don't think that's changed much. They are still the team that are able to break the line the most. That being said, my player I've selected is Beauden Barrett. His most likely, what it seems like, his move to 15 for the tournament is definitely going to give him a lot more space to run. The guy has pace, he's a big fella, and I think he's going to have some stunning breaks. He's already shown it in the Rugby Championship, and I think that's just going to progress even further into this tournament. A little bit of an outsider for the second player, and the main reason for this is I feel he's a real up-and-comer. Wales have played him a little bit. I don't think he's going to play all the time, but he has had a great run. I think he's a player to watch in the tournament. And the style of play for Wales, when they do get the ball, they tend to run quite hard, and that he definitely has done that very well in the under 20 championships. So I'm going to go with Josh Adams at the number 2 spot for the clean breaks. I think he definitely has showcased what he can do, and considering Wales' prominence, I think he definitely will have quite a lot of opportunities to do so. So those are my 2 for the clean breaks. Next I'm going to get into tackles. So quite surprisingly, even as me as South African first sporter and probably a lot of people, South Africa dominates the first 5 spots in the last tournament's tackle rankings, killing every other team. And I think it's obviously just shows the style of play South Africa puts in. They definitely have a lot of, they love to play without the ball sometimes. They are very staunch defensive side, and considering they didn't even make it to the final, they did have the 4th place players, but they still 5 of the 5 players making the tops, with Loet de Jager and Francois and Loet de Jager being the top 2 of them, is quite impressive, and it shows the kind of style South Africa plays. So just because of that, I think South Africa hasn't moved very far from it. I'm going to keep it in that vein, but Loet de Jager has fallen a little bit off favour, and Francois is most likely the starting flank, but I don't believe he's the player he was in 2015, in my opinion. I've had some arguments with people about that, but that's my opinion. So I'm going to go for Eben Etzebeth, who was number 3 in the last tournament, as he is still the dominant force on the field. He definitely has it, and I think he's got a point to prove this tournament. So I definitely would love to see him there, and I think he's going to definitely be the man to watch. Next up, I've decided not to go for another South African because I thought that's a little biased or whatever, but although it probably will be considering the style of play South Africa plays, I'm going to go with another Welshman actually, and that's just Justin Tubrick. He's killed for Wales this season. He's really got some good stats behind him. Top tackler for Wales. He fits and also top turnovers. Why I've picked him and why I feel Wales will be doing a lot of tackling is, even though they are quite a strong running nation, they like to kick to the center of the field when they kick. They rarely kick out from my evaluations, which obviously leads to a lot of open play running and the kind of scenarios where you don't really have the ball a lot of the time when you do that, but it does actually play, if it's into your playing style, it works well, and it has worked well for them already, so you can definitely see it. It gives them the ability to try and win it back without having to have the other team going into a set piece, but I think it leads to those teams having more tackles and more regular tackles. So that's kind of where I've gone with this. Yeah, but those are my 2 players I think are definitely going to be great options in that. Next, I want to go into penalties. Penalties are an interesting one. as it's most likely the team who, in my opinion, has the best scrum. That's just how it works out normally. So last tournaments was Handré Pollard and Nicolas Sanchez 1 and 2 there. So I don't think that's going to change much. I think Pollard probably will still be number 1 in this tournament just because South Africa does have a very dominant scrum, and scrums lead to a ton of penalties in the modern game. So the team who has a strong scrum and can get in their opposition will often go. It also plays towards South Africa's style. We regularly kick for poles when it comes. We're still one of the only, I think the only team that's won 2 World Cups and has not scored a try in a final once. So I've got a feeling they're going to continue the tradition and kick for poles when they can. But next, I've gone for Johnny Sexton. I think Ireland have also got one of the best scrums in the world. I've continued my vein on that thought, saying that I think that the team with the strongest scrum, and they've got an outstanding scrum, will definitely do it. And Sexton is a reliable and confident kicker, so I think he's going to be up there, if second or if not first, in the penalties column in the stats for the tournament. So next I'm going to get to tries scored. So this is a tough one. New Zealand dominate this every tournament. I think every single tournament I looked at in the past, they've dominated. They are the try scoring kings. There's a reason they have the most points scored in the World Cups, and I'm going to continue on that vein. But I've decided that just before I get to it, Julian Sevilla and Milner Skudder were the 1 and 2s for the last tournament. A player some people question if he actually is as good as everybody says he is. He has great seasons and poor seasons. This is not his best season. I feel like he's not running on the ball. He doesn't find the space as well as he used to. But I'm still going to give it to him, as he's a beast of a man, and he knows when he gets going, and I feel like he's going to get going in this World Cup, he was a force to be reckoned with, and that's Rieko Ioane. I think Rieko Ioane is definitely a man to watch in this tournament. If you give him space, he will kill you. So very fascinating, and I'm quite excited to see how he plays out there. The next, I've gone for an Irishman also. Ooh, it's kind of working out, I didn't realise that. And that's going to be Jacob Stockdale. I think Stockdale is an outstanding winger. Ireland have definitely got a solid foundation with their scrum, as I've said. They do have a outstanding set of fly-offs and wings that actually get the ball to. So I think he's going to have quite a bit of space around him, some good games that he can perform in. I don't think the group stages are going to be very conducive for him scoring a lot of tries, but I still think he's going to be able to put a good amount of points on the board. That is something that obviously does play into all of this. Unfortunately, the pool stage, a lot of this is if you're playing relatively small nations in your pool stages, you can get some insane scores, and that's helped a lot of teams going through, and I think that might help South Africa and New Zealand quite a bit in their pool, as I think that's probably the easiest pool besides those two teams being in it. But yeah, that's just another side. Getting into conversions. Conversions are obviously then just looking at the team who you think is going to score the most tries, who's going to be the kicker for that team. So I've gone, last time was Dan Carter and Craig Laidlaw from Scotland. So great players. I'm quite surprised to see Laidlaw up there, but he was a stunning player and definitely a force to be reckoned with. But I'm going to go with the current incumbent number 10 and New Zealand most likely, and that's Richu Mwanga, as I expect New Zealand to score a ton of tries. That, in my opinion, was a pretty easy one. But then I'm going to go for Owen Farrell for number 2 there, as I feel England are going to be scoring a ton of tries with their really, really robust wing system, and the fact that I think they have their pull path isn't too terrible, and I think they've got a lot of fire under them. They've had some great tries in the Six Nations going forward, so I think Owen Farrell will be doing a lot of kicking for poles in that situation. That's just my opinion. Then most points scored in the tournament is the final category. So Nicolas Sanchez and Handré Pollard topped this last time. I was quite surprised at the performance of Sanchez last time, although he's a stunning player and has been a stalwart. I unfortunately have pushed him down heavy in my rankings just because I feel Argentina haven't showcased what they can do yet. I'm hoping that changes, I really am. But unfortunately at the moment, that is affecting his rankings quite heavily. So here I've kind of gone for, in my opinion, based on the other stats, who I think will be either kicking for pole most on penalties or conversions, as normally your fly-off takes the spot. And I've given it to Richu Mwanga, as I think there's going to be a ton of tries scored by New Zealand in the group stages, and that's going to give him a lot of time to kick for poles. Then second place, Pollard, as I think the penalty count from South Africa is going to be a decent number, as it always is, and history has shown that we definitely like to do that. But yeah, those are my choices. Obviously, those are my opinions. Please comment down below who you think will do it, and maybe as we go through the tournament, I'll adjust my findings on how players are performing, players are putting up their hand. As you always find, players can come to a new level in a tournament like this. So this is obviously not fixed. I'm just trying to kind of like how I think will be there, and it'll be a fun experiment to see how it actually ends up. But yeah, thanks guys. Please comment, please share, please like down below. I will be doing a live video on Tuesday with Unbiased Rugby if you want to join and see that. But yeah, I'll see you there, guys. Thanks.